engaged in so many different services. He would be working in the Goshala. We would see him every day doing Pujari service here, the morning transfers, the morning backup service. And then, of course, the love of his life, Harinam. So he would be out there Saturday evenings, drumming away, singing, dancing. And then morning, somehow he would stagger into the Bhagavatam class, the Harinam hangover, and we would engage in a 3-hour period of wonderful discussions and exploration. So he's a special example of this. His work was always very good. His essays were deeply thoughtful. It was very remarkable. He has obviously had many years of experience in life, and he would always like to relate the topics we were studying to what was going on in his life and the experiences he's had, not just in this country but in traveling around the world as he has done. So he would describe how different cultures implement different facets of the Bhagavatam in their day-to-day life. So I was very much enlightened by that example. Thank you for tolerating me, and I wish you all the best for the Bhagavatam studies. And I would like to ask Paresh Prabhu. And Paresh Prabhu's wife is here as well somewhere, I saw. Yes, Hare Krishna. So Paresh Prabhu is one of our scholars. I'm sure you're all familiar with Paresh Prabhu from Bhakti Sastri and the extensive efforts he's put into propagating and serving the Bhakti Sastri course ever since he completed it himself. So he obviously has a love for learning. He has a great attraction to Shastra. He has a great respect for the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. And in his work it was clear that he would analyze the subject matter deeply. He would explore from many, many different angles the particular topic we were studying. And he would write very nice, comprehensive essays which were in themselves sometimes little mini reference books for the topic. So I enjoyed reading those. And as a teacher, we think it's a one-way process. The teacher imparts knowledge and the student absorbs and then writes. But through all of these wonderful students, I have gained such an understanding of different ways to approach the Bhagavatam. That is such a wonderful benefit that someone gets as a teacher. Now Paresh Prabhu hopefully is stepping into that role increasingly. He obviously has great enthusiasm to preach, to teach, conducting sanghas. And he has been an asset to the course, asset to us, asset on the course. He's inspired many of the students. And he was always, just like Sanjay, happy to help out whenever required, with little tasks, arrange the room, pick up a special visiting guest from somewhere, make little arrangements like that. And these are all very much appreciated and valued. So I would like to thank Paresh Prabhu for his deep, thoughtful and methodical approach to this course. Thank you very much. So next I would like to invite Grace Chanmataji. Thank you. So Chanmataji also put a great deal of effort into this course. And what is special is that she travelled almost 2 hours every single Sunday to come here. Because she lives in Northampton. And whilst many people are happy to do that for a few weeks or for a short course, she actually kept it up consistently for 5 years. So that itself... She has a great love for the Bhagavatam. In the beginning, I was actually trying to discourage her from doing the Bhaktivedanta Manor. Because I was suggesting that she should complete the Bhakti Sastri thoroughly first. But she had spent some time studying the Gita, and her love for the Bhagavatam really triumphed. So we carried on, and it became clear that she was deeply relishing these pastimes. She'd been hearing and reading the Bhagavatam since she was young. And that attraction had stuck with her. So she was wonderfully participative in the lessons. She would just love to come and hear the pastimes, participate in the discussions, and actually share with us some of her realizations from her experience in life. Around halfway through the course, we relocated from the Goshala at the Manor to the Watford warehouse. to the boardroom there, which is a nice classroom. And somehow during that period we started a little tradition of having a snack during the break. So this was a very popular tradition. But Chand Mataji over the years supplied an endless variety of cakes and little treats. She actually enlivened us with her creativity. And she also inspired one of her friends, Julia, who also would supply a few tasty items, which were almost entirely devoured by the brahmacharis each lesson. But she actually inspired Julia, and this is a result of her preaching, actually. Julia also decided to join us on our trip, on our Bhagavatam trip, and she had a wonderful time. So Chand Mataji put a great deal of effort into this course. She's a very busy lady, and she had many other family commitments, many social engagements, weddings, in-laws, outlaws. But she juggled all that. And although she missed small sections of the course, a couple of weeks here or there, she was always very quick to come back on. And as soon as possible, she would jump straight back into it and start practicing, reading, questioning, conducting tests, running the tests. So I want to thank her very much for her tremendous effort. I think you're a great example of dedication to everyone. And hopefully that love for the Bhagavatam will carry on forever. So next I'd like to invite the companion, Radha Madhavi Devdasi. So Radha Madhavi Mataji lives close to Chand, and the two of them made the journey together most of the time. So I heard that they would be discussing the Bhagavatam, practicing the shlokas for the tests, discussing the answers to the questions that are due to come up. And in that way they actually had a whole yatra almost every lesson. So she's also to be congratulated for making that journey every lesson for 5 years. And as we've said that the Bhagavatam is a journey, well, our lives also take us on a little journey. And like many people, Radha Madhavi also had to undergo different challenges in life during this period. But she kept the Bhagavatam very close to her. And the Bhagavatam became that basis that gave her a reference point to deal with whatever is happening. So she decided to focus on spiritual life. And that focus on spiritual life sustained her and gave her the strength that was needed to get through whichever difficulties. Now each person has difficulties. The special consideration is whether that person surrenders to the Bhagavatam and surrenders to spiritual life. So here is a wonderful example of someone who has done that. It has become a fabric of her being. And I know she has worked tirelessly. She's obviously had a lot of guidance from her mentor, who will be very proud of her. Is she here today? No. But she has guided her, mentored her through this process. And she has enjoyed the course, I think. She would always produce work of high quality again. She would get very high marks in tests. Her essays were thoughtful. And I'm very grateful to your example. You've displayed a wonderful dedication and a wonderful deep desire to accept the principles of Vedic culture. And that is very much something I appreciate. Thank you. So next I'd like to invite Swami Jyoti Prabhu. So His Grace Swami Jyoti Prabhu is what I like to call the elder of the course. Please take a chair. So Swami Jyoti Prabhu is a special person, and his deep attraction to the course comes partly from an instruction by his spiritual master, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami. As we all know, Mahavishnu Goswami is very much deeply devoted to the Bhagavatam. He is described as the living Bhagavatam sometimes. by different persons. And we had given Prabhuji an instruction, a request that he should engage in a deep study, systematic study of the Bhagavatam. So Swami Jyoti Prabhu relished this chance, even though he found out that I would be teaching it. So he still jumped on the opportunity to actually engage in this course. Now, as one gets older, it becomes increasingly more difficult to do the academic duties of memorizing questions, memorizing shlokas, learning this fact, learning that fact, learning yet another 20 items of detail. But Swami Jyoti Prabhu is a wonderful example of how it is possible for anyone, under any circumstance. If simply the willingness is there, one can do that. And he stuck to the course from beginning to end. Sometimes I would have to stop him running off to do some deity service, which is another love of his life. Another Prabhu is here. I know he's very much dependent and grateful on Swami Jyoti Prabhu for all his service. But he has added that wonderful dimension of scriptural rigor to his spiritual life. And he has entertained us all on this course. On our trip to India, he would always tell us wonderful pastimes. We would have many adventures with him. And he was always a wonderful, solid foundation, a pillar amongst the students that we could rely on and we could plan the course around. So Swami Jyoti Prabhu, thank you very much for all your effort. So I would like to invite, and ultimately, Jasu Mataji. Thank you. So, Jasu Mataji is a wonderful example. I know her husband is here somewhere. Hare Krishna. So, as he will testify, she is a very busy lady. She has many commitments, many duties, many expectations from many persons. And she has somehow struggled to fulfill all of those, as a wife, as a mother, as a student. And she has done it in a very amazing and sweet way, I can say. She's had a deep attraction to the Bhagavatam. She's possibly one person who is there on time, every lesson. The start of the course. So punctuality is definitely one of her traits. And this is an asset in spiritual life. Right from the beginning through to the end, she would be happy to come to the classes, she would read the material beforehand. We would engage in many lively discussions on various topics. And this is actually perhaps one of the benefits I've seen from this course. That devotees have had a chance to bring up topics, bring up aspects which don't seem so clear in relation to their own lives and in relation to the purports and the verses that we've been reading. And we've had a chance to have a good discussion on them, to explore them thoroughly. So she always participated very actively in all those discussions. She also has a very strong impression, probably from her childhood, of a very nice cultural setting of growing up. And she has acted to hopefully explain to other members of this group and myself how actually a traditional culture can actually help very much with one's spiritual progress. So we are all trying to explore this difficult aspect of applying Vedic principles in today's modern chaotic society. And so she would always be very keen to explore those and to try to discover exactly how we could do that in today's modern world. So that is a wonderful way to approach the subject matter. I want to thank you very much for all your effort. And last but not least, I'd like to invite our senior Mataji on the course, the Grace Harshani Mataji. Okay, thank you. So as I mentioned, she is, like I refer to her as our senior Mataji on the course. I observed directly her attraction to the Bhagavatam deepen and deepen as the course progressed. She would explore the topics very, very deeply. Just like Harish Prabhu, he would analyze everything. But she would go to another level. And she would produce almost a mini thesis for each answer. So that for me was almost an encyclopedia on the subject. She would research from the Bhagavad Gita, from the Bhagavatam, from the CC, from different other books that she studied as part of Bhakti Sastri, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion. And she would compile such a factual compendium of the material. It was just wonderful for me to read myself, just for my own enjoyment. So she kept that up consistently. Now, during the course, as with different devotees, she also had what could be considered a material setback. Her health started to deteriorate. And she's one person who soldiered on through that period and continues to, with a solid grip on spiritual life. For her, this has been her one support, which has been consistent and strong. Once her husband, Prashanpur, is he here today? He complained to me that all Harshrani Mataji is interested in is reading the Bhagavatam. Whenever she has a moment, she's simply there reciting shlokas or preparing for her tests. Now, I took this to be a great compliment. Because I know just how many things she has to do in her life. And I also know that Prashanpur is also very deeply appreciative of your efforts. He is very proud, actually, of the dedication she has put into this course. And she has actually developed an inner attraction to the Bhagavatam that allowed her to explore it in so many different ways. She also came with us on our yatra. She encouraged all of us, all the youngsters, how to practice spiritual life properly. I know she gave guidance to many of us on this course. And she also continues to guide many devotees outside the course through different WhatsApp group messages, different Bhagavatam Sanghas, etc. So she is a wonderful example of someone who embraced the opportunity to study, who overcame difficulties, who carried on, who soldiered on. And I personally need such an example in my life. And I hope that example can benefit many others as well. So thank you very much, Harshrani. So I'm grateful to her, and indeed I am grateful to all the students. This designation of teacher and... Oh yes, we should. How could I forget? We have a special candidate actually. His Grace, Parama Karuna Guru, is. The reason I forgot is because Parama Karuna deserted us during the course. He completed 4 cantos of study with us. Then he went on to experience a higher standard of study by going to Mayapur Institute directly. So we had arranged this course, and we had set this course in motion on the basis that it would be a joint partnership. We would use the materials and the systems and the support and the training from Mayapur Institute, and we would implement it according to those guidelines. So therefore the locations are interchangeable. So I've always encouraged students that if they wish, we have that arrangement that they can conduct or they can participate in parts of the course in Mayapur itself. So Parama Karuna Prabhu chose to do cantos 5 and 6 with a little encouragement in Mayapur. He was teaching Bhakti Sastri, and as an ashram resident, he's also very busy. He's doing many things. He's recently started a Gujarati Sangha, which is a special initiative. It's very popular around here with the Nassis. So he studied very diligently. He's a scholar by nature. He is someone who loves Shastra. He deeply explores the subject. He goes into it in depth. He answers questions methodically. He likes to teach. He's in many ways an ideal academic student. But he's also taken up this aspect of sharing the knowledge of the Bhagavatam with as many people as possible. So I'm personally hoping that can continue into the future. We're hoping to launch another Bhakti Vaibhav course in January or February. with Paramakrishna Prabhu as one of the main teachers. So hopefully he will be willing and happy to serve all of you in this process. I would like to commend him for all his resilience, all his strength in spiritual life, and for being such a good example for me to follow. Thank you very much. As I was saying, I am grateful to all the students, and this designation of teacher and student is a title only, and it is really there as a matter of etiquette. In Vedic culture, etiquette is one of their key ornaments and principles. But these roles really are interchangeable. And the student of today is the teacher of tomorrow. And within that framework, a wonderful exchange can take place. I personally have learned so much from each and every one of these lovely devotees. They've inspired me in my spiritual life. They've inspired me to keep going, and they've inspired me to continue to teach and to try and serve in whichever capacity. So I want to deeply offer my deepest respects and gratitude to every single one of them, and I hope they can assist me in my spiritual progress. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. It is so heartening to see the culture of serious spiritual education happening and so many devotees participating so enthusiastically. It definitely bodes well for the future of our movement. Srila Prabhupada said on many occasions that he wanted ISKCON to be, or our temples to be, like spiritual colleges or universities, where spiritual knowledge would be given to people very systematically, very methodically. And this is what we are seeing here through courses like the Bhakti Sastri, the Bhakti Vaibhava, and also other courses, in addition to the regular morning and other classes that go on. So I would heartily encourage all the devotees to please take these courses very seriously, participate in them, take the advantage of them, and as we have seen from the examples of each of these devotees who came forward, it has made such a telling impact in their lives. So I definitely want to encourage all the devotees to take up these courses wherever and whenever available and possible for them. And would like to thank Navadvip Chandra Prabhu and the other devotees who were teaching, those devotees who helped in facilitating the course by making arrangements, and also to all the devotees who participated as students. And of course our heartfelt gratitude at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, because of whom all this is possible for us. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. On behalf of the whole group, I would like to congratulate His Grace Navadvip Chandra Prabhu for teaching us. Srila Prabhupada in Radha Damodar temple, he spent so much effort in translating this Srimad Bhagavatam to help us understand the value of life. So all his hard work has not gone in vain, because Srila Prabhupada himself was very encouraging everyone to read Srimad Bhagavatam, and now Sri Dhamma Prabhu has actually organized this course in Bhaktivedanta Manor, and His Grace Navadvip Chandra is excellent as a facilitator and a teacher. And his when he marks the essays, for example, for everyone, he really critically looks at where the mistakes are, and then he suggests how we can improve. So it's not just crosses, he'll give an answer, what is the correct answer, which I think it helps us in our spiritual life. So he's very critical in marking essays, which is good for us, because we learn from mistakes. So I think that's great. Another aspect of Navadvip Chandra Prabhu is he's always encouraging us. And to study at any age, you have to be serious, and he has taught us to be serious in Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a serious subject, and we have to go deep and deep and deep to understand properly. And his knowledge is so deep that he can pass it on to us, but we just understand the surface. But he has actually taught us how to go deep and deep into the treasure of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this course actually is not easy, but he has made it easier. He's very organized in his thoughts, I think, because he's a brahmachari and very strict brahmachari, and he's doing pujari service, so he has to be strict in his discipline. And a lot of other senior devotees, they say he's a perfect example for good brahmachari. That's about it, short and sweet. I'm not a person who lectures on, so I hope Maharaj can do some gifting, that'd be nice. This is on behalf of the we should do 3 Hari Bols to Navadip Chandra Prabhu. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! And of course, His Holiness Maharaj. Hari Bol! Hari Bol!